There's a great quote in finance, Neil, which is really the same as in business. Never be the smartest person in the room. But unfortunately, I think our next guest is. When you look at his resume compared to the two of us, he's got expertise that spans over 40 countries, multiple industries. He's worked across healthcare, energy, telcos, technology. He's been in Dubai, bringing his 15 years of experience. He is the founder and the CEO of Indigenesis, and he's here to talk all things tax, auditing, and just what that means for many people around corporate tax, and also some of the free zone announcements. So, Siddharth, thank you very much for coming on Kitch and Neeil this afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, this is, taxation has been a botheration for literally every business owner. They don't know what to do. Why? Because for all these years, there was no tax. Right, we were sitting very comfortably. Whatever money is coming in, you're putting in your pockets, you're happy. But now with the announcement of the corporate tax coming in, I'm sure that your phone hasn't stopped ringing with people asking you questions every time a new rule comes out.
And that's why when Kitch said it's the smartest person in the room, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room when it comes to corporate tax.
Well, you are on this show.
Thanks. But you're right, Neil. In fact, since yesterday night, there's been questions around free zones. And we never thought that free zones are going to be dropped with this bombshell. But yeah, there are a lot of questions that people have. There's still ambiguity. There's still daily news that's coming in from the government. So yeah, lots of things changing when it comes to UAE corporate tax day in, day out.
What are most businesses confused about?
I think the biggest thing that they want to understand is whether they're in a free zone, whether they'll be taxed or not. That's the biggest question everybody has on their minds.
Okay, so people are confused about that. So now, when it comes down to that, you mentioned that free zone. What are the rules for free zones and their taxability?
Until late last night, we thought that free zones will probably stay out of the tax net. But last night, they came up with a notification which said that if you're transacting with the mainland, and that's more than 5% of your total income, you're going to be taxed on the entire income.
Well, that would have made an enjoyable night for a lot of businesses last night.
I know. So Friday night's probably gone out of the park.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if a free zone company is in business with a mainland company, and if their revenues, or are we talking about profits?
We're talking revenues in excess of 5% of their total revenues. There's, of course, a list of excluded activities, but other than the list of excluded activities, if you're transacting with the mainland beyond 5%, your net of the exemption goes away.
Wow.
Wait, so
I know. I'm already confused. You ask it.
Okay, so you're saying that first thing, I'm a free zone company.
Yep.
If I'm trading and doing business with free zone companies, I don't have to worry.
They are absolutely fine.
Okay.
Clear.
Right. Step 2. If I'm doing business with mainland companies and if my transactions, my revenues are more than 5% of my total revenues, then I will be taxed.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right.
5% of 5 million, but yeah, let's assume 5% for now.
5%. Okay. Yeah. There's
Too
more
much
to it.
technicality.
There's more to it. Right. Now, 5% of my total revenues, if are with mainland, I'll be taxed. What will I be taxed upon? The transactions that I do with the mainland or my entire transaction?
Yeah, that's the catch. And that's why Friday night's out of the park. The entire transactions.
Wow.
Spoiling the party. Sorry.
So does that mean you've been on call all day answering questions about this?
We haven't slept for 24 hours and counting.
Wow. This is big news. So if everything that is going to be taxed, if my transactions are, so what are the advantages then to be a free zone company?
Free zones were established only for the purpose of conducting business with other free zones or within the same free zone.
Okay.
So they want you to go back to that diktat. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, the advantages of being a free zone obviously are now limited to the core concept of free zone to free zone kind of trading.
That's correct.
Right. But then when this happens, there's always a cap of 375,000, right?
That's there.
That is there. So that cap,
there.
if the whole transaction is still below 375,
Yep.
you will not be taxed.
Small businesses continue to benefit.
Yeah, coming from a country that has income tax like Australia, it was just ingrained into your thinking of, how can I minimise tax, or can I offset this, or no, I won't purchase it on 30 June. Oh, I won't purchase it on 1 July. I purchase it 30 June, then I can come it back. And it's sort of ingrained into your thinking. That culture's not here. But how can companies optimise their tax obligations? How can they sort of leverage deductions and exemptions?
Yep, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Kitch, because we're still not as high as Australia right now. But
Well, I don't think you're as high. We're not as high as anyone.
I know, but given the fact that there is tax that's impending, what we need to do is we need to take care of our expenses. There's a 50% limit on deductions that need to be taken care of. You need to devise your and now coming with this whole free zone diktat, you need to devise your mainland versus free zone operations a little better. So yeah, a lot of thinking needs to go into it. But yeah.
So you think people will cut down on their mainland transactions, bring it down to like say 4.8% of the total transactions?
I don't know. Probably they'll set up a mainland entity to kind of transact with mainland entities. That's probably what they'll look at. But that's too early. As I said, just 24 hours and counting. We'll see what it gets to.
Has there been anything common that you've seen with certain industries tend to be more in line than others?
I think the one thing that UAE businesses have not been used to is giving due importance to accounting, and that's across industries. So industry agnostic, and I think now in accounting and bookkeeping is going to be given the due importance that it had to be.
Do you foresee this to be the next growth sector in terms of employment?
100%, 100%.
No, I mean, if he's getting calls and he's not getting to sleep, I'm sure that he'll deploy. He'll have 10 more people in his office to answer calls right now.
Siddharth wants his Friday nights as well.
I know. I may not be the smartest person, but I'm the happiest person. So that's fine.
Here we go. There's an insight.
His Friday nights are getting better for sure. I can tell you that.
What's the old saying? Follow the money. So
follow the tax and you follow the money.
Follow the tax and then you follow the money. Well, if you do want to get more details, it is Indigenesis Consulting. But you've been only here in Dubai for a couple of years. You were previously in India?
Yep, I was in India. We have a business in Singapore. We've been doing Dubai since 2014, but came here full time last 2 years.
Oh, so you're in Singapore.
Yep.
What are you working in another tax-free haven over there for?
Yeah, almost.
Well, but I guess probably working in places like Singapore, that then helps you and gives you the experience of having the best of both worlds to come here and give your expertise.
Yes, that helps a lot. And in fact, with the whole NRI community back from India coming in Dubai, we're able to offer that perspective which comes into India, Singapore and Dubai, all three.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. You know, for a lot of people coming in from India or from Pakistan for that matter, you know, we look at this place as a place which becomes a new home, which becomes a place where we'll probably spend our lives, going forward. But that one impending thought will always be there. Will there be individual taxation that could come in? You know, I'm sure that you guys see 2 steps ahead of a common man who doesn't understand taxes as much as you do.
Well, Neil, you're not only spoiling Friday night, but probably spoiling a lot of fortnights ahead. But there's, I mean, believe you me, and that's my thought. I don't know, but there's never going to be individual income tax, at least in my belief in mind. Yeah, I don't think.
I actually agree with you. I think there'll be other indirect taxes. There may be an increase in VAT, but I don't think that's just my personal view. That I don't think that it's just a. It's a cultural thing. I don't think people will accept.
I know.
No,
They're not used to it.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, we were not used to VAT. We were not used to corporate tax.
We will see our DUR go up 6,000%, but we won't pay income tax.
Then, in that case, invest in your DUR right now. Buy those stocks.
That could be a good opportunity. If you do want to get more information from Siddharth Kohli, or I'll be able to get in touch with him, that website is indigenesis.com, and you can get in touch with all of his services as a one-of-a-kind consulting organisation, and he even works Friday nights. So we're happy about that. Siddharth, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
TSB, Talk Sport Business on Talk 100.